Straight people. What burning questions do you have about the LGBTQ community? Why isn't it called the LGBTQ community? Why do asexuals want to invade Denmark? I'm nervous. Do you feel like it's genuinely getting better or heading in the right direction regarding equality and it just being considered as normal or regular as any other relationship or lifestyle? Closeted bi guy here. I don't know anyone who would give me grief over it, but is it weird that I just have no interest in coming out? I mean, I'd obviously tell family and friends when required, if I was to start dating a guy, but unless I had to, I'd just prefer to keep it to myself. My 15-year-old daughter came out to us a month ago. How do I best support her as her dad, knowing that her life will have additional challenges that I'm not experienced in? Many of my best friends throughout my life are LGBTQ, and I'd hope that I had been, and still am, a supportive and loving friend, but wasn't necessarily in the role to be their shoulder to lean on or a mentor. With my daughter, I want to be her rock. I want to be able to give her comfort that I will do anything to help if things are tough. Perhaps this is the same as being a supporting father in any child's upbringing. However, I know she'll have more challenges. Am I overthinking this? I just want to be the best dad for her. Lesbians. Do you also find dating women hard? I know my gay buddies always complain that it's hard to find a solid relationship. So, I'm just wondering what your dating gripes are. I am not straight, but I don't know what I am. How do I figure this out? Is it possible not to be attracted to anyone? Do you ever feel nervous when you compliment a guy's looks or flirt with them because you think they might be straight and get super angry at you? Since a lot of people question their heterosexuality, do you also sometimes question your homosexuality? Is gaydar a real thing? How often do you hit on straight people before realizing they're straight? Are you annoyed when people ask you a lot of questions? Or any at all? Is LGBTQ+ subscription worth it? Or is LGBTQ adequate? Edit. Thanks for the awards. I've decided to go for the plus. It's worth it for the little extra each month. How did you figure out that you weren't straight? 'Cause I've been having a lot of mixed feelings of my own and I'm not sure how to really feel. Page. I'm a guy. Edit. Thank you all for the support. I've gotten something like 110 replies and I'm trying my best to read all of them. I'm still unsure on my stance, but I think that's okay and that I'll figure it out with time. Thank you all so much. Again. There's gotta be gay dudes just not into anal, right? Liking anal is to be expected. Seems like an unfair standard. Is there a stigma around it? Are gay men that aren't into anal seen as prudes or boring? Sorry if these seem ignorant. Just always wondered. Where do they have their secret meetings and what kind of food do they eat? Can I be gay without liking sex? I had moments when I was younger about wanting to be with a person, but just that male-to-male sex turns me off or weirded me out. Edit. Some people must have misunderstood somewhere and that's my bad. I'll try to be more definite. When I say I want to be with a person, that includes cuddles, hand-holding, expressing love with words, sharing all happiness and weaknesses. I already know the difference between wanting a best friend of the same sex and wanting someone romantically. Women don't have a harsh cool down for orgasms like men do. So when does lesbian sex come to an end? Does it just keep on going until they get tired? At what point is it considered that girl-on-girl home base has been reached? I assume it's a personal assessment, but wasn't sure if there's an overall definition as with straight intercourse. For lesbians, bisexual women? IDK if that's the right term, sorry. How do you know you're sexually, romantically attracted to women versus just interested in being friends? Because whenever I see a woman I think is attractive, I honestly can't tell if I'm sexually attracted to her or if I just want to be like her. Lol. Edit. Thanks so much for the responses. It's been really fun and enlightening to read about everyone's experiences. Definitely comforting to know a lot of people have this dilemma too regardless of orientation. P.S. I feel like I am definitely biromantic. Cannot decide on bisexual because I really cannot imagine the sex without experiencing it. Who decides what goes into LGBT+ and what doesn't? Who decides in the order of? Don't know what to call them, sexualities, sexual identities? Since straight people make gay jokes all the time, do you also make straight jokes? When speaking of a memory of a trans person, do you use their current gender or the one they were at the time you're speaking of? Is it normal for straight people to on marches, whatever they are called? I want to go on one and support you guys, but IDK if people get mad about it or something. Edit. Seems like I'm welcome. When there's one nearby I'm going. Love you guys. Edit. I actually didn't expect this many people to be okay with it. Lol. Edit. Thanks for the award. Every time I see LGBTQ+, I never have the option to click on the plus to expand and see the full stream of letters. What is the full stream? And what does each letter stand for? Is the Q part of LGBTQ used in an attempt to retain ownership of a potential slur? I always thought that word was a slur, so don't really feel that comfortable using it. When complimenting a straight person, do you say, "No hetero" afterwards? No questions. Just wanted to say I'm sorry for how I used to be. Edit. Thanks for the kind words, everybody. I'm a Gen Xer, and we were pretty monolithic in our homophobia back in the day. Personally, any change or growth I have experienced has not been because of anything I've done, but because of all the brave folks I've met in my life who weren't afraid to be who they were, and who forced me to examine my prejudices. Nothing changes a person like a friend. Not a question, but I just want to thank the straights here for not being homophobic and asking genuine questions. Love y'all. Have you ever been wondering how to translate neo-pronouns, they, them into gendered languages like German, etc.? My mind always gets a blue screen while thinking about this. So I'm a rural bi guy. It's rare that I bump into others like myself, but it's such a relief when I do. Being rural and bi is interesting, I'd say. There's not that big of a gay scene and it's still a bit shunned, sadly. I've never been to a city and experienced the culture, but can safely say I like dig and I like fussy. I told my dad this and he just laughed and called me greedy and good for me. He liked my first boyfriend as well. Good man. Anyway, I'm rambling. I guess my question is, are all these labels important? Honestly, I don't really understand it too much. I'm just like, let people love who they want to love. Do we need to put everyone in these neat boxes? My wife didn't really accept herself as bi until after we were together. We are monogamous. I do my best to support her. She really wants to be part of the community and participate in things like Pride Fest, but I think she feels uncomfortable. I've offered to both go with her or let her go alone. She doesn't want to go alone, but also doesn't want to be seen as straight either. I think it's awesome who she is and want her to not feel left out, and I also think it's important that she helps represent her sexuality to help combat bi erasure. Are people really judgy about things like this? Is it okay for me to go with her? What can we do to make her more comfortable? Why is there so much biphobia in the community? Genuinely wondering because I consider myself bi. What do you think about Pride and Moment when every company changing their logo to rainbow? I have a feeling that a majority of lesbian porn is geared towards straight men, lesbians. Is this true or false? Is it difficult coming out of the closet? Like, for very religious families? My younger brother is trans and recently started taking hormones. Is it offensive to mention that his voice is sounding better, more manly? Or to generally call attention to the fact that the trans person in question is passing better now? Can people be romantically attracted to one sex or gender while being sexually attracted to multiple? Or the other way around? Do trans men feel left out of the conversation on trans rights at all? It feels very focused on trans women. Out of habit and respect, I have a tendency to say yes sir or yes ma'am. Is there another term for those that identify as they, them? Do any gay dudes get insecure if they have the smaller dig in the relationship? Because I'd be worrying about this like all the time. Not straight, but do poly people break up like ejecting someone in Among Us? If you're a trans woman that's fully transitioned into being a woman, is it rude to ask to be pegged? Like you went through all the trouble and cost of getting an angina to have someone that still wants a something in their butt. Something about it just seems rude to me. IDK. Do walnut and almond burn at the same rate? Is oak the most efficient wood for burning because of its density, or are there better options? Thanks in advance. Favorite Pokemon? Not a comment, just a statement. I hope you feel loved and accepted. Do you guys have barbecues and call it a LGBTQ? With recent movies and TV shows introducing more LGBTQ+ characters and promoting such representation, which members of your community are still vastly underrepresented as a whole, and how would you like to see their stories incorporated onto the screen? Alright everyone, I'm gay and can't answer questions about different sexualities, so if you have a question, hopefully someone else can help you out. If a trans person were dropped into a parallel universe where all the gender norms and stereotypes were reversed, would they still be trans? Related. What do you think of the whole gender is just a social construct thing?